to sing. I had to sing to match it. Like I just did a scratch track, and then I had to sing. It's like, oh no, they're way too good. I'm not nearly as good of a singer as these guys are musicians. What am I going to do? This is shit. So I was very lucky. I had a home recording. I got to have an ADAT and record everything at home in my living room. So whenever the time was right, when my voice was feeling good, night or day, I'd start recording at 2:00 in the morning sometimes. And, whenever I felt it, I was just walking around with this album in my mind and my heart. And then I'd lay down a track and I'd go, nope, that one's crap, do it again. And I would punch in, and then I just, I got pretty good recordings and worked at it till I sounded good enough to match the quality of my musicians. And I'm very pleased. I mean, but then I had no money to promote it. I had two teenage children at home, and I couldn't go touring, and I was split up from my husband, and there was no other money coming in, and it's like, oops, bad timing, like this beautiful album, but no way of actually really getting it out there except, I sold a bunch. I did play at one of the festivals that summer, and I did touring that summer, but after that it was just kind of like trying to get a band that I could pay was, not very easy. Nobody seems to want to pay musicians very much. Finding gigs is not that easy.
The show must go on.
Yeah. But anyway, I still sing some of those songs, but since then I got together with a really good guitarist, and we played for about 5 years, and we tried to get a job on a cruise ship, and we didn't. I tried 3 times to get a job on a cruise ship with 3 different musicians, and it was just not meant to happen. And I'm really glad, because I don't really believe in cruise ships. They're just big, stinky, polluting hotels.
You have a little background that I'm familiar with. Dinner theater.
Uh-huh.
How did you get into that?
Well, from doing my cabaret stuff, and also with Wyatt, who I performed the guy who was in my first band, Wyatt. He got a really fun gig. We did a murder mystery dinner theater, and so that was fun. And then I put on a few shows by myself with my music, and I was also involved in a show on the Skeety Island called the Tisk Tisk Review. Snippets here and there. And there's been speakeasies that I've auditioned for in the Valley, and then maybe just done a few of my songs, been one of the sort of cameo people. So it's actually something I'd like to get back into in a big way. Like I'd like to get my cabaret show together and properly promote it, because I feel like I'm really ready. The music is good. My characters are really good. So it's just a matter of pulling it together and then finding somebody to promote it, and making sure I go to the right places, where I can actually make enough money I can hire a musician.
That's the key. Now, were you doing cabaret in dinner theater also?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was kind of cabaret dinner theater. And also the Misadventures. We did dinner theater too. We did a few shows that were like dinner theater with our comedy review. But fun? What is music? What is dinner theater? It's a show where people are eating. Right? Is that kind of?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you get to see the show and have a meal at the same time.
Yeah, right.
Dinner and a show.
Yeah. Yeah.
All for one prize. But I enjoyed doing it. I'd never done it till I moved to Florida, and I just decided to audition with the group and got in with them and performed with them for many years. It was fun meeting new audiences and interacting with them and entertaining them.
I know, it's great, and you get to they're in a very good mood because they're well fed and well plied with alcohol, and that I think that atmosphere is very conducive to supporting the artists. It's more interactive too, right?
Yes,
you're closer to them. I think that's a really good thing about. I don't like the separation from artists to being far away on a stage. Like we have these huge, what do you call them, stadiums and things, where big bands go and play. And it's like, I don't know, the experience it's magnificent, but how close are you really to the artist? How do you really get to feel them?
Yeah, those nosebleed sections really not the best to experience, especially a solo artist. It's like you just see this little speck on stage. It's like...
Yeah, exactly.
How does your music help your causes? That was a question.
That's a very nice question. Well, it depends on what cause we're talking about. I've played a lot of shows and done a lot of things to do with the environment. I get hired every year to sing my salmon song and lead a group of choralers along the estuary. So I don't know, causes. A lot of my causes are environmental, have been in the past. And the cabaret music, I believe it can really help to empower women, help to empower not just women, but transgendered, just humans, people who are looking at their relationship issues and stuff. I think it provides a reflection. It provides a safe reflection and maybe humorous for people to look at themselves. My causes. It keeps me healthy. Singing is really a good exercise. It keeps my mind clear. It inspires me, gives me clarity about what I think and feel and believe in the world. And it makes me be accountable to myself. That's what I like the most about it, I think, because I have been gifted with a lot of songs. I've been gifted with these voices and these characters, and I believe it's my duty. I believe it's any artist's duty from the divine, from what made us, the molecules that are dancing around us. It's our duty to share our light. It's our duty to inspire and help others to be courageous and express what's beautiful and real in them.
Mm-hmm. So you went to China?
Yes.
When?
I went to China for the last 2 years. I was at a holistic center in just about 2 hours northwest of Beijing, in a place called the House of I, where I was hired to be the ceremonialist, where I performed ceremonies and blessings for different occasions. And I was also hired to be one of the resident musicians, hired to write and record music. So last year we recorded 2 albums, a children's album and a chant meditation album, and I produced the chant meditation album, and that's what I use now for my sound healing. And I did one today, actually, at the college in Courtenay.
So wait, how did someone in China find your music and want you to come to China?
Well, I knew some people that had worked at this, and a woman who I'd done a workshop with years ago. We'd co-produced a workshop, and she knew about me. We do sort of the similar kind of singing, the sort of improvisational, get up and sing, encourage people, singing harmonies right off the bat, this kind of vocalizing kind of thing. Anyway, so she knew about me, and she knew about where I'm at with my dedication to environmentalism and human justice, social justice, and all that. So she thought it would be a good candidate for this job. Plus, I've been working in schools for 30 years, and I had a lot of experience with children and being part of a team. So that's how I got it. And it was a beautiful experience. It was really eye-opening and mind-blowing, and I feel so happy that I've got this music that I can use now for... And they're all in Chinese. The songs are in Chinese. The songs are in Mandarin, and so it's really cool. Like today, during the sound bath, the women that were there, the people that came, they said, it was so nice to hear the music sung in Mandarin, because we didn't know what they were saying, but there's this, just this really it just went right into the heart. It's like, yeah, that's really great. Because that's what it was all about. The house of I means house of love. So it gave me an opportunity to really focus in on words and how important words are, how important this particular note is. This note resonates with this chakra. This is going to open up your heart chakra, and these words are going to move into your mind, and you're going to feel this, the water in your body. So we looked at the elements, we looked at the chakras, and we looked at the transformational properties of words. Words are powerful. Words can really, mantras, words, prayers, they can really get in under your skin and help to nurture, provide courage, shelter from the storm. So it was a real honor. It was a real honor to work there and to be given this opportunity to go deep inside myself and be the best I can be.
And in China.
In China. Yeah.
What was there any other highlights of being in China? Did you go places that really?
Yeah. I went to Korea one day, and I got some beautiful instruments there to bring back, and for a couple of days, actually. That was amazing. And I would go to Beijing quite often on my days off, and I saw amazing things in Beijing, incredible art and some theater. I went to an opera there, met a wonderful Italian opera singer. We're still friends. I was a guest at the Summer Palace, of the Emperor's Summer Palace in the center of Beijing, and the woman who is the curator there is a poet, and she one of her poems made it onto our CD. So in one of the songs a piano piece I wrote called Floating Contemplation, she wrote a piece called Maya, which is like illusion. So we're dealing with illusions. The whole story of this album takes you through the story of the wayfarers, the explorers from Hawaii and the Polynesian islands, who would envision a new land, a new place, and they would set off on their boats on the currents and just trust that they would arrive at this place. So that's what the story's about. The story's about envisioning, coming together in community, and then trusting, and then creating this new reality, which is kind of what I feel like we need to do with these crazy people we have in power right now in Canada and the US and Russia. We have some, maybe we could just, maybe you could draw pictures of them and erase them.
Maybe create a new reality.
Yeah, create a new reality.
I like that. If only. Well, that brings me to this question. Do you think we all have an artist inside of us?
I love that question. I believe we all are very creative. I believe every one of us is a creative being. Absolutely. Whether we can call it art, that is, maybe it's a matter of semantics. I don't know if all people are artists, but I believe that all humans are creative. And, sometimes we haven't given ourselves enough permission to be creative. And we don't. I just think it's so great being creative. It's so great when you recognize that in yourself. It's very liberating. So it's wonderful when we can inspire others, even a tiny bit, just to find something that makes them feel, alive, gets them out of their head and into their bodies.
Why do you think they don't give themselves permission to be creative?
That's a tough one for me, because I don't have any trouble being creative. And who am I to judge whether they're not being creative? Maybe they're being creative in their thinking. Maybe they're being, in the way they approach their Sudoku puzzles or their crosswords or the way they put on their shoes in the morning. Maybe they've got a creative way of arranging their linens.
It's true.
So it's all by degrees, and I think as long as I think creativity gives us pause to stop